Chances are, if you are like me, you want more. And you have a desire for more. You want to find out more. You want to look towards the world, find the biggest things that are in the world. That stems from a childhood of always asking your parents, what's this? What's that? Then it moves on to, what's the purpose of this? What's the biggest elephant? What is the biggest city? What is the biggest pizza in the world? Because it stems from a curiosity of wanting more and wanting the big things. That is where our desire for more starts. It starts from the curiosity of ourselves as a child. And how our parents react to that. Very special, because when you look at how a parent reacts to the question that their child asks, a lot of the times they fail to leave it open-ended. The parent who responds to a question that tries to close it immediately or give them the answer, that can sort of actually do the wrong thing necessarily. Because think about it, if your child asks, what's the purpose of the rainbow? Or why are there birds in the sky? As a parent, what if instead you just said, I wonder. I'm sure it has a good purpose. I'm sure it has a big purpose. I'm sure it's there for something. When you leave the question open-ended, it leaves that room for curiosity to keep growing in their mind. See what I'm getting at here? The more you leave the curiosity open and the ability to grow more and figure out things in the future, that's an incredible impact that you can have on the youth. So it's such a powerful conversation tool to leave open-ended questions. The questions that you would end up thinking about during the conversation, after the conversation, and for many years after, if it's applicable to you right now, like, is this really the thing you want to be doing right now? Because when you leave the question open-ended, there's a lot more impact because that is them figuring out the answer, not necessarily you having to have a direct source or answer. It actually impacts the other person more when you ask an open-ended question because it leaves them in control. Because all the time in relationships, the person that is the least interested in a conversation has the most power in that conversation. You make it so that the person that is most interested and is most intrigued in finding the answer, it's the person that's asking you because now they're thinking about it. Turn the situation on their head, now they have to think of an answer. I wrote this in my journal yesterday. I'm reading a book titled Higher Purpose by Robert Holden. And I wrote this yesterday. This makes me consider, maybe people who wanted big things asked deep questions about existence and wanted more when they were young, or more likely to live purpose in the future. It's as if they know or believe they are going to make big accomplishments in the world. Now, what I mean by that is when you allow your child to have more curiosity, and when you are younger, when you were allowed to have aspirations to figure out what it is you're here to do. If that stays alive in you throughout years of your life, you're much more likely to find exactly what it is you're meant to do. Because if that question of your existence and why everything exists here, if that stays alive in you, you are much more likely to find it. So it makes me think, if you are the person that had those aspirations when you are younger, you're here to realize your purpose just as much as anyone else is. But you have the opportunity because you've been aware of it for so long. When you get this reassurance of being able to continue asking these questions and wanting to know more about the world and our existence, it's as if you're letting that child in you already know that you're going to do big things and make huge accomplishments in the world. It's as if the child that wants to know everything and wants to know what is the best X, Y, or Z in the world. That's the child that, when they're allowed to expand and be curious, that's the child that's going to do big things in the world. Because they're going to seize their purpose to the best ability that they can. So when we keep curiosity alive, by leaving questions open, by leaving it to the imagination or to wonder, we leave a sense that it's up for growth to happen. And it's up for advancement in life, in the experiences that they go through, in the conversations and people that they meet. And then the accomplishments and rewards they have from their work. So what I'm getting at here is that when you leave the curiosity and inspiration open to the youth, they are extremely more likely to live a life that's full of purpose. So it's vital for all of us to keep that motivation in the brains of the youth going. Because we can look out in public. We already know what a generation of uninspired youth looks like. That aren't destined to, or they're not, let's say, like inspired to bring more or work towards a purpose that is bigger than them, bigger than they'll ever conceive. We already know the effects of not having inspiration in this generation. So the best way to combat this is to keep the aspirations of the youth alive. If you're someone like me who doesn't appreciate how so many of my peers are not doing the things that would be of best interest to someone that wants to create success, the way to combat that is to just leave the inspiration open. Be the type of person that encourages growth.